When we think of starships in the Star Trek universe, we typically imagine the likes of the USS Enterprise, whether that be the original, A, B, C, D, E, or even the F. What if I told you that the Federation actually had a secret stealth fleet in operation during the 23rd century? That's right, today we're talking about Section 31's Stealth Starships. Section 31 has been a part of the Star Trek universe since they were first introduced in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Recent series and films in the Star Trek universe, both the Kelvin movies and Star Trek Discovery, have added to the tapestry of this elusive organisation. Along with the expanded lore, a bounty of stealth starships has been introduced to flesh out the mysterious organisation. Today, we look at the secret stealth fleet of the Star Trek universe, and a few other ships. Let's go. Welcome to Trek Central. I'm your host, Captain Jack, and let's get into this. But before we do warp into this video, if you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore, and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. While you're watching this video, which one of these Section 31 starships would you prefer to command? Comment down below. Okay, engage. The NCIA 93 type starship was one such ship class employed by Section 31. The vessel was 274 meters long, and instead of a saucer design attached to nacelles, the primary hull was triangular, a theme consistent with Section 31's fleet during the 2250s. Not only did the exterior deviate from Starfleet ship design, but the interior did as well, with the ship's bridge being 2 stories and not featuring the usual captain's chair format consistent with Starfleet starships. The ship was able to mask its warp signature, which aided in its covert operations, as well as retract its nacelles when not at warp, with this mode being referred to as dark mode. Presumably this aided the ship in running dark and avoiding detection during covert operations, such as when Captain Leland's NCIA 93 type starship was operating in Klingon space, following the Federation Klingon War. The retractable nacelles of the NCIA 93 type would serve further purpose, with minimizing the silhouette of the ship from sensor sweeps, and also so its close-up look would not appear Federation compared to the nacelles out. So, if the ship was found in its dark mode, its design would not give away that it was a Federation ship, even though it was a part of the Section 31 fleet. Of course, Section 31 was an advanced organisation technologically compared to the rest of Starfleet and the Federation, so their ships were an example of this. Ships of this type could holographically alter their outer appearance by disguising themselves as another object, such as an asteroid. This was similar to the Romulan drone ship seen during the 22nd century, which used multispectral emitters which could have been recovered from the wreckage of these drone ships a century prior. This theory would actually make sense, as we know Section 31 was operational during the NX-01 Enterprise's conflict with the Romulan drone ships. Their ships were also equipped with tractor rigs, a piece of technology that enhanced their tractor beam strengths by tethering the tractor beams to probes that could be attached to other objects. The ship's operating system was also highly advanced for its time, being more consistent with the LCARS design of the 24th century, rather than your typical Starfleet computer design used during the 23rd century. Currently, we know of the following ships of this class. The NCIA 93 was the first ship we see of this class, commanded by Captain Leland. It was in operation in 2257 and played a part in extracting Ash Tyler and his child from Kronos. The ship would later assist the USS Discovery under the command of Captain Christopher Pike, showing off its advanced features to rescue the stranded Crossfield-class starship. The NCIA 93 would later be used to escape by Leland, who had in fact been under the influence of Control. This was Section 31's rogue threat assessment AI. The ship is later present in the battle near Zahir. The ship is later disabled, however. It's not quite clear what was done with the ship or the other ships of the class following the battle. Given Ash Tyler took command of Section 31, it is possible the fleet was salvaged. In Star Trek Online, the NCIA 93 type starship is classed as a Turing-class Intel Science Destroyer design. In one of the video game stories, we're told about Starfleet being forced to abandon Yard 39, which had a fleet of starships stored. The USS Samadi, a Turing-class Section 31 vessel, attempted to recover the ships but was left abandoned. It seems that some other Section 31 vessels were also stored here. The Nimrod-class starship was one such ship class employed by Section 31. The vessel was 872 meters in length, and like the NCIA 93 type starship's primary hull, was triangular with a cutout in the middle, and a much larger secondary hull underneath the saucer. The ship utilised 4 nacelles. Whether these nacelles could fold, like the NCIA 93 type, or whether this ship could go into a dark mode is unknown. One thing was differentiated between the Nimrod class from the NCIA 93 type, other than its size and design. This was that the Nimrod class carried hundreds of small drones that could be operated remotely. During normal operations, the drones were docked into the saucer section of the ship, and when launched, the framework of the primary hull became an open lattice. Another 4 Nacelle ship class in Section 31's fleet of ships was known as the Hui class, possibly named after the mythological Chinese archer. Instead of the 4 nacelles being behind the primary hull, like the Nimrod class, the nacelle strutted off from the ventral and dorsal side of the primary hull of the ship, and above the primary hull was a rollbar-like structure, similar to the Miranda class of starship. Also, with a similar structure to the Miranda class were 2 nacelle ships used by Section 31, with a larger version known as the Deimos class and a smaller version known as the Shiva class. Larger Deimos class seen in Star Trek Discovery carried the registration of NI-1021. All these other ships also had drones docked into the framework of their primary hull, with only the small NCIA 93 type scout ship not having this technology. Let's talk about the drones. The drones docked under the Section 31 vessels came equipped with an armament of phasers comparable to the phasers used by the Class C shuttles, as well as utilising refracted lattice shields for defence, which were strong shields, but did leave them vulnerable when targeted from the port and starboard directions simultaneously. The drones were the size of one-man fighters, and, as they were unmanned, they could be used in kamikaze-style combat. Okay, so all of the Section 31 vessels previously described were present during the Red Angel incident of 2257. The leading ship was the NCIA 93, under the command of Captain Leland, who initially helped the USS Discovery find Mr. Spock and the Red Angel. The entire Section 31 fleet would fall under the influence of Control, with this fleet fighting a major battle near the planet of Zahir. Control and its new fleet fought against the combined forces of Starfleet, the Klingon Empire, and the newly liberated Kelpians. Control was ultimately defeated during this battle, with Section 31 being officially shut down following the incident, though it was unofficially kept alive through its new head, Ash Tyler. What happened to the NCIA 93 type starship or any of the other Section 31 vessels after this point is unknown. Whether or not it would be used by the new Section 31 is also unknown. Perhaps the lore explanation reason these Section 31 ships were absent by the time of Deep Space Nine is that Section 31 as an organisation moved further back into the shadows, given it was officially shut down after all. This would make logical sense in the grand scheme of things. During the battle near Zahir, Section 31 had around 30 starships. Some were destroyed during a battle, while others would be disabled. As we saw, Star Trek Online explained that some of these ships were put into Starfleet ship storage yards, and simply kept hidden away. Section 31 ships were designed by Star Trek Discovery Season 2 lead ship designer Ryan Denning, who had taken over from renowned Trek ship designer John Eves. The intention of the NCIA 93 type ship was for a stealth ship that operates in the shadows and could practically look like it could hide from other starships. An inspiration for this stealth design came from the F-117A stealth aircraft in our real world, with its angular design, which you can see in the design of the NCIA 93 and the other ships in the fleet. The angular design of the new fleet of ships was also meant to set them apart from other Federation ship designs. However, it still retains something that lets you know it's a Federation ship with its nacelle configuration. From the beginning, the Battle of Zahir intended to include drones in the battle, so the design of the other Section 31 ships was to be motherships for these drone fighters. During the 24th century, Section 31 was commanding an unnamed Defiant-class ship. It was equipped with a cloaking device and features a slightly modified version of the hull, making it darker compared to the regular Defiant class. Other modifications included outward elongated nacelles and blue-coloured Bassard collectors. In 2381, the ship retrieved the torpedo casing in which William Boimler was launched. This followed his fake death aboard the lunar-class USS Titan. Boimler was revived from his apparent death and recruited into Section 31. In 2382, the Anaximander, aka Nax, was a Federation Defiant-class ship operated by Section 31. It is unclear at the moment if it is the same ship which recovered Boimler from the torpedo casing. Both appear identical. However, the Anaximander was under the command of Captain William Boimler. The ship was given the task of locating and stopping the quantum fissures opening throughout the galaxy, before the integrity of the multiverse was compromised. The Anaximander is in action in Star Trek Lower Deck Season 5. Personally, I'd love to see more of this ship. When you think about it, Section 31 using Defiant-class ships makes a lot of sense. They have cloaking devices and a lot of firepower. Perfect for getting the job done. Now, let's look at the Kelvin timeline's version of Section 31 and the ships they employ. Section 31 also existed in this timeline, given that the timeline split did not occur until the 23rd century. So naturally, we can explore what starships fit into the timeline even more. I say this, but the only Section 31 ship in the Kelvin timeline is the dreadnought USS Vengeance, currently, and this is in the canon, not stepping into beta canon, currently. The USS Vengeance was a dreadnought-class ship constructed at the Io facility around the Jovian moon of Io, a secret Section 31 shipbuilding facility, and it was also launched in 2259. The dreadnought class was described as 2 times the size of the Kelvin USS Enterprise, 3 times its speed. The vessel is around 1,300 meters long and can reach warp 10 with its advanced warp capabilities known as Mark IV capabilities. The ship utilized a darker hull than was used by Starfleet of the Kelvin timeline, but still had similar elements in the design, with a primary saucer section attached to a secondary hull and 2 nacelles. The Vengeance was equipped with an array of advanced phasers that arc towards the target, seemingly with a tracking system. Phaser hits could penetrate through the shields and cause major hull breaches to even the flagship of the Federation at the time, the USS Enterprise. The vessel also had Type 7 phaser drones and swivel-mounted photon torpedo launchers that could be deployed from the dorsal side of a saucer section from beneath the hull, which could rotate and launch torpedoes at various firing arcs of the ship. The ship was heavily armed and used several experimental technologies, which included stealth technology, which may or not have been good as Romulan cloaking devices, but still made the ship incredibly hard to detect. The Dreadnought class utilized heavily advanced AI systems to reduce the crew needed to operate the vessel, with the vessel theoretically allowing a single officer to operate the ship. Engineering was designed so that it could run automatically, with only crew needed on the vessel's bridge. The transporter system of the Vengeance was advanced, allowing site-to-site transport of multiple entities simultaneously, and transporting 72 objects at one time. Likewise, the vessel's sensors, the multi-dimensional radar and space region observer systems, were highly advanced. The ship's deflector could be covered while the vessel was not at warp, presumably to protect the deflector from damage during combat. The ship's hull was highly durable and stayed intact even after the detonation of 72 photon torpedoes inside the vessel. With the ship largely automated and requiring minimal crew, the ship had several hangars, with Hangar 7 of the ship located on Deck 13, so we can presume the vessel had at least 7 hangars. The USS Vengeance was launched in the year of 2259 in the Kelvin timeline, and was captained by Admiral Alexander Marcus, the then head of Starfleet and head of Section 31. The ship was designed by the Kelvin version of Khan Noonien Singh, a eugenically augmented superhuman from Earth's eugenics period in the late 20th century. Interestingly enough, Admiral Marcus had a model of a super secret ship in his office. I do wonder how he explained that to people who asked, "Hey, what ship's that on your desk, Admiral?" Marcus used the Vengeance to catch up on the USS Enterprise, which had captured Khan and was going to expose Marcus's plans to start a war with the Klingon Empire. Khan would take command of the Vengeance after killing Admiral Marcus and attempt to destroy the Enterprise. However, he was ultimately disabled upon beaming an arsenal of 72 torpedoes, believing him to destroy his fellow augmented brothers and sisters. The disabled Vengeance would crash into San Francisco on Earth, leveling parts of the city in its path. Khan would be defeated by Commander Spock of the Enterprise and put back into stasis. The Vengeance was ultimately destroyed in the crash landing. A year later, Starfleet held a memorial service to the lives lost due to the incident. The intention of the Vengeance design was also to look like a dark reflection of the Enterprise, and it went through numerous designs before the film, being conceptualized as an angular black-holed Leviathan. In some designs, the saucer had way more cutouts, almost a crescent shape instead of a saucer. As mentioned, the Vengeance design for Star Trek Into Darkness went through numerous iterations over many months. But other than the main hull changing design a lot, one of the biggest changes was the bridge of the USS Vengeance. Some of the original designs for the bridge were very different from the conventional bridge layouts of Starfleet vessels. It had multi-leveled bridges, similar to those seen in Star Trek Discovery's Section 31 ship bridges, with more central elevation to elevate the captain of a vessel. However, as the Vengeance was meant to be a dark Enterprise, it was decided that the bridge should also reflect that and be a dark reflection of the Enterprise bridge. The Vengeance also had a lot of unseen weaponry, with a team at ILM going a little too far of what was needed for the film. There were 8 to 12 different kinds of weapon systems. One such weapon system was phaser drones, which can be seen on the USS Vengeance model next to the deflector dish, but was intended to detach from a vessel like drones and fire phaser beams in a 360-degree arc. The USS Vengeance was the first ship seen in the employ of Section 31. The USS Vengeance was also looked at for inspiration when designing the Section 31 starships for Discovery, with the main takeaway being its darker hull colour, which helped to sell that these ships were for a more morally grey organisation than that of Starfleet. So, that's a roundup of the stealth fleet of Starfleet in the Star Trek universe. Of course, we've got the Section 31 streaming movie coming out in January 2025. As such, we may get a new Section 31 starship. We'll cover that in another video. Oh, did you answer my question from the start of this video? If not, comment down below. Which one of the ships today would you take out to command? If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore, and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends.